Ladies and gentlemen, it is I, Tetcher, and welcome to episode 3 of Tetcher Teaches. Today, we're not going to be having a look at individual players or individual heroes. It is quite simply, we're going to be having a look at the PTR server, due to some of you may not feel like playing it, and may just be sticking on the live server. And if you are playing it, you may not have time or want to have a look at all the changes, so we're just going to run through them fairly quickly, and we're going to hop into the try me mode on the PTR to have a look over some of the different things. The first thing I do want to go over is Artanis is technically on the PTR. If you have pre-ordered StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void, then if you have auto-select, when you go into a normal matchmaking game or into a versus AI game, then you can just randomly get Artanis. The most effective way to do this is to go into versus AI, select AI teammates as well. That way you can quit out of the game without having any consequences, and then you can just spam load games with while on auto select and hope to get Artanis for yourself. That is the most efficient way to get to play Artanis, and even though it's versus AI, you still get to try him. So if you pre-ordered StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void, then you can give that a go. That is the first thing out of the way. For now though, we're going to hop over to the patch notes screen, and we're going to run through a couple of them and just see what we have to talk about. So to start off with, there's just stuff that there's been delays on the patch notes. So first things first, we do have the new hero, Artanis. We have graphic settings, blah, 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 blah. We don't really care about that. We're going to talk about the new hero, who is Lieutenant Morales. And Morales is a support hero from the StarCraft 2 universe. She is, I'm still ill by the way, so live with it. She's a healer from the StarCraft 2 universe. She is basically the medic from StarCraft Brood War and the StarCraft 2 campaign. And her trait is Caduceus Reactor, where she regenerates 3% of her maximum health per second after not taking any damage for 4 seconds. It's basically like Muradin's trait, which we can have a look at here actually. So let's tab in. This is going to be how we're doing it, just tabbing in and out. And Morales is 3%. Muradin is just 12 health per second, so he restores a regular normal amount of health, whereas Morales is restoring a percentage of her health. So she can actually come out with quite a lot of self-healing and really keep herself sustained, but it's not you can't use it unless you're actually in a fight, which is a bit of an issue. Basic abilities: Healing Beam, heal an ally. Now I'm going to clear something up, because if you haven't played it yet, some other healers say heal an ally and they can heal themselves. You could not heal yourself with Healing Beam, but it just channels on the enemy, on the teammate, which heals them for 20 health per second as long as they're in range. You can reactivate it to switch targets, or activate your trait to cancel the channeling. This thing just drains mana as it goes. It's not a cast ability you can just keep open for as long as you like. As long as they are being healed, it takes mana. So you need to be very careful with your mana. However, if you're healing someone who is full health, you will not lose mana, as I will show you when we go into the try me mode. Safeguard. Target allies resistant, reducing damage for 25% for 3 seconds. Pretty nice. Very good counter to vulnerable abilities, I have found. So make sure you use that on an efficient target. And also, one of Morales' best abilities for actually protecting herself, and Displacement Grenade. Fire a grenade that explodes on the first enemy hit, dealing damage and knocking enemies away. Very good CC. Quite a long cooldown, but it's basically Morales' only I don't know the word here. Not sustain, survivability, I guess. Disengage is a good word. Like if Illidan or someone jumps onto her, that's her best way to get out. She can safeguard herself to block the damage, and Displacement Grenade to try and disengage and move back into her team, or move behind some gates to try and protect her that way. And her heroic Stim Drone, which is the one you'll be seeing a lot once if you're on the PTR, or once you hit the main server, grants an allied hero 75% attack speed and 25% movement speed for 10 seconds. Let's compare that to Rexxar, whose Bloodlust, 40% attack speed and 30% movement speed for 10 seconds. So we have we have the same amount of time, more attack speed and less movement speed. So imagine this on someone like Illidan, or a lot of people have been running it on auto attack Tychus, Raiders we've been seeing a lot of, and combines reasonably well with Artanis and Zeratul with Shadow Assault. Shadow Assault Zeratul, if you don't have lockdown for him, he will just kick your ass. You need to focus him really easily. If you focus him, he'll go down quite easily. But if you throw it on Artanis, I didn't realise this when I played it, because I didn't really understand Artanis' traits. I didn't research it, because I didn't expect to be able to play him yet. But Artanis, his cooldown on his shield actually is, his cooldown is decreased by auto attacks. So the quicker he attacks, the quicker he's going to have his shield up, so he can stay alive for a lot longer. So actually dropping this on him is a pretty nice way of turning him into more of a very sustainable bruiser, and will be a very powerful combo in my personal opinion when the Artanis and Medic are both available in the game. And the other heroic, which is hilarious, and you guys may have spotted me ever so slightly in a clip of the Medic being used on Reddit, where a medic used medevac, and for those who don't know, target a location with the medevac to transport for up to 10 seconds before takeoff. Allies can right-click on the medevac to enter it, so the medevac can transport you from one location to the other. And there's a video of me on Reddit of the medevac flying from the medevac on my team, just from the enemy's point of view, flying it to an easy camp to try and contest, where ETC immediately mosh pits and kills us all. So that did not work out so well, but it's very good for mobility and map control if you use it correctly. It's only on a 40-second cooldown, which is a big deal. But for now, let's hop into the game quickly and have a look at these abilities in action in the try me mode as quick as we can. And then we'll move on. We're only going to cover the more significant hero changes as much as possible. So let's toggle off minions and toggle off ally for the moment. Set our level. It should already be set to 20. Awesome. Which, by the way, try me mode, absolutely sick now. Look at this. We now we have some trees here. We have a bush. So you can check line of sight stuff with the trees. You can try your damage on the dummy, and it will tell you exactly how much damage you are doing per second. You can see that mine's hovering around a steady 230-ish. Actually, it looks like it's going down. I'm not sure why. It's just working it out. There we go. Pop that up a bit with the grenade. But I'm hitting it, so let's start leveling up our talents. So level 1, we have the safeguard duration increased by 1, which is good if you're trying to protect someone like an Illidan. But the issue with Medic is she is quite squishy. She is going to be focused. So a lot of people, in fact, pretty much everyone has been taking Trauma Trigger, where safeguard automatically activates on you when you're at low health. If you go below 50% health, it will activate automatically and protect you. Bioshield seems to be the go-to talent for level 4. Advanced Block, once again, another good one if you're against an Illidan to protect yourself, reduce any damage on you, is pretty good. There's a load of grenade builds that are just bouncing around at the moment, but I haven't really looked into them, but refunding the mana if it hits an enemy hero is pretty nice. And the extra travel speed is pretty good. You can hit people pretty nicely. Excuse me, but Bioshield, still, in my opinion, one of the good ones for just healing up your team, keeping them protected. And it will still burn mana, but and it is a decent shield. It protects them. You have to be careful with your mana as is. Irradiate, a lot of damage can be coming out, so basically anyone near your target takes a damage per second. But she also does have Mule and Cleanse, which are both really good support abilities. Mule if you're on Sky Temple or something, Cleanse if you're up against someone very CC heavy, and Irradiate, of course, extra damage for your team. So we will take Irradiate for now, because you all know what Cleanse and Mule does. So we're going to take Stim Drone, and we'll just level up everything up to 20, and I will show you exactly everything that's going on. A lot of people seem to be taking Couples Therapy because it heals you as well for 25% of the healing amount, but it does cost a bit more mana, so you need to be careful with that. And Shield Sequencer Safeguard can be cast twice. This is just the way I'm building him. Her, and you have Storm Shield, a good option here. Caduceus Reactor, which is really nice, gives you a shield so you can be protected from a very quick engage, and actually restores mana, which is a pretty huge deal. Otherwise, you can get Transfusion, which gives you Stim as well, but your auto attacks don't do too much damage, so that's not a huge deal. So let's just pop our ally up, and we'll just try him a bit against Arthur's bot here. Arthas, you here yet? Where is Arthas? Does he not come out unless you toggle minions? I don't know, I haven't tried properly. Alright, so we'll toggle the minions. Oh yeah, so Arthur's bot is separate. That's annoying. Alright, so let's just stun this. As you can see, I have a pretty decent shield. Let's burn some mana. Let's burn some mana and get some health taken off. Or at least I wanted the shield would go away. Come on. Do damage to me. There you go. Oh, sod off Malfurion. Malfurion, get out of here. Alright, so I'm just going to get myself damaged a bit. Get that Caduceus Reactor off me. Jesus, this Malfurion heal. Okay, so there's my safeguard. So I now have a bit of damage, and you can see how much damage gets prevented from safeguard as well. Just going to take a bit of damage, and now I'm going to back up. I'm going to pop some mana as well. Yeah, pop both of those. Heal a bit. But yeah, you can see my shield is activated because I'm not in combat. My healing beam actually has a bit more range than it shows. Like, I am 100% out of range of that minion. And I was still able to heal it for quite a while there, but as you can see, My shield healed me back up. But it only heals up to your health. It won't just continuously activate as long as you're running out of mana. So let's toggle our ally back on. But you can see how it works. I am draining mana because he needs to be healed. Finish the target with Q. Just keep everything sustained up. So we drop that on mouse. So now let's try to stim drone on him. There we go. Takes a bit of a cooldown. And now he's just doing damage. Just doing a lot of damage in general. I'm keeping him healed. Very good for your melee assassin. You see it's kept him nice. Alright, so let's reset talents here. And we're just going to level through these nice and quickly. Bioshield, Hero Day, and Medevac Dropship. Couples Therapies, Shield Sequencer, and Medibay. Alright, so this is a more interesting talent. So basically, you are choosing a location on the minimap. It's basically global, so you can fly pretty much anywhere. We are going to, we're going to choose to fly into the enemy base here. Now if you're in, he can get in. And then the second this cooldown runs out, I can take off early. Otherwise, I can run down as Tyler. We're being shot at, so we're just going to go straight into the enemy base and both get catapulted out. Why am I being targeted? Let's protect Malfurion and see if we can actually get out of here. Heal him up while we can. And start bashing our way out of here. Couples Therapy, get out of here. We're trying to escape here. Alright. Mouth. This way, Mouth. Mouth, you stupid idiot. Alright, come on. Come on. He keeps being cleansed by something. I guess he's cleansing himself. Alright, well. We'll get him out of here eventually. There we go. Yeah, you can see it's nicely sustained, and this medevac already pretty much off cooldown, which is pretty awesome. But as you can see, we've only been fighting for a little bit, and I'm already running a bit low on mana, so you need to be very mana efficient with your medic. So be quite careful. But the healing's good, not too much CC. You have to be very careful where you're positioned. Your positioning has to be pretty good. But Stim Drone, really good ability. Medevac, absurdly good if your team is communicating and doing it well. You could really take map control with this ability. And of course, makes for the ultimate backdoor attempts and will be a future Tetcher challenge once she is out of the PTR and into regular gameplay. So, let's have a look at the next thing on the list. We're going to skip past the art and the shop, blah, 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 blah. Battlegrounds, the only really important one is the try mode of Battlefield of Eternity, where Battlefield of Eternity, the Immortal, has been, had his damage a bit buffed, just a little bit, but he's had his scaling damage, wait, no, it is nerfed. I thought it was nerfed, but I read it wrong, so, yeah, no, it was a buff, my mistake. So yeah, he's been buffed a bit, and you now actually have to get 40, oh wait, I'm looking at the wrong one. Infernal Shrines is the right one, there we go. So yeah, the Punisher did get nerfed. He got his health decreased by 10% and his scaling health, which is a pretty good deal. And the Leap will now go to the nearest hero within range rather than selecting one at random. These Skeletal Defenders, you now actually have to get 40 of them from 30, which is a pretty big deal. And they will no longer take increased damage from abilities that deal bonus damage to minions, which is pretty awesome. So now it's quite a bit harder to kill them, and it's a lot takes a lot longer to get 40 than it does 30. So your team actually has a chance to fight back, but the map is still snowbally as hell, so you have to be very careful with it, which is pretty good. And also, Sky Temple. Events in which all 3 temples will activate simultaneously will no longer occur. So it used to be pretty cool, but it didn't, as the developers say, it didn't leave the defending team any options. It would just activate and the game would end. So it's a pretty big deal to have this change. It will really change how the map is played. Now we're going to go on to the changes. Butcher, we're not really going to look at him. It's just changing his Savage Charge ability from dealing 50% of the target's current health, which means he was the engaged hero, to 10% of the target's maximum health, which gives him a bit more of a snipe ability, and we'll likely see that being taken a little bit more often. And Lambda the Slaughter has new art to indicate which players are affected by Lambda the Slaughter, but we don't need to see him. Zeratul, Wormhole talent, has the reactivation time reduced from 3 seconds to 2 seconds. So, basically, you have to wormhole out of there within 2 seconds, as opposed to within 2 seconds. Have to do it within 2 seconds as opposed to within 3 seconds. So you have to be a bit quicker. He's also had his attack damage reduced a little bit, or at least the scaling reduced a little bit, so that he won't be as incredibly ridiculous. And Void Prism's cast range has been reduced by 50%, which is a pretty big deal. So he's going to have to be a lot more cautious with how he puts down his Void Prism, and he can't just basically long-range engage. Abathur, Locust Strain will no longer spawn Locusts as the game starts. Still fun. There's also an undocumented change for Abathur, in which when you press R while you have the monstrosity up, you will automatically symbiote the monstrosity, which is pretty nice. just keeping control of that monstrosity. It makes a lot of sense as well, but it will still run off the normal cooldowns of your symbiote. If your symbiote is on cooldown, you won't be able to use it. If you use it, your symbiote will go on cooldown. Nazebo. Spider's attack damage has been decreased. Like, this is a serious nerf to the spider build here. Spider attack damage has been decreased. Leaping Spider's damage has been increased from 25% to 50%. And Ravenous Spirit has an increased vision radius granted. Now, this is interesting that this build is being nerfed, considering that the other build that was being used on him is already coming back into the meta. So we're just going to find that quickly. Where's Nazebo? I should probably put these in alphabetical order. There he is. So I'll just run you through his build quickly. I could have probably done this in the other screen, but it doesn't matter. We'll just let these guys run off. So the build that I see a lot of people taking on this, and the build that I like going the most, because it's more burst damage, as opposed to damage over time. Death Ritual, because it's still the best ability. Gathering Power, yes, you're going to take the risk, but you're going to be fighting from quite long range, so it's worth it. We take the Toad Affinity, reducing the mana cost of the Toads, Ravenous Spirit for the extra damage. Toads of Hugeness, increasing the AoE of the Toad, which is a pretty big deal. The damage is nice, but it's the AoE we want. And then we take Specialized Toxin, which is still affected by Gathering Power and the Annihilating Spirit. So now we just throw out our Toads. They get big, they AoE, and the spiders, of course, help us spread that Specialized Toxin, aka our Voodoo Ritual, to get all that damage off. So now we have multiple ways to spread it. Our Toads, which will get bigger with each hop, so we can spread it to minions quite nicely. And remember, this damage will be increased by your Gathering Power stacks, so you can get a lot out of it that way. So you can just throw out the Toads, they get bigger and do more damage. You can throw them out against buildings. And of course, Ravenous Spirit will spread your Specialized Toxin as well. So you can just throw that out and do massive amounts of damage. And it's wonderful. Oh yeah, also, forts and towers have a visual representation of when they are shooting at you now, which is a pretty good deal. So let's pop back in and keep going down. So supports. Now these ones are quite big changes, so we're going to go through these a little, but some of them aren't worth showing you. Tastar, for example, isn't really worth showing you. His shield amount has been decreased from 200 plus 40 per level to 150. Yeah, what's going on? Oh yeah, so here we go. So yeah, that's just so when it's cast on minions and stuff, it's a bit weaker, but the amount has been increased by 50% when cast on allied heroes. So now it's going to be 225 on heroes as opposed to 200 plus 30 per level. Still scales a bit worse, but it still comes out pretty nicely. Mana cost reduced from 50 to 40, so it can be spammed out a bit more, and cooldown reduced from 8 seconds to 5 seconds, which is a pretty big deal. Leeching Plasma talent, basic attack damage has returned as hero health is increased from 20% to 30%. So we can basically give any allied hero a 30% lifesteal talent, which is pretty good, pretty awesome. So throwing that on top of an Illidan, on top of a Zeratul, really gives them some good sustain. It's really useful and a great combination, in my opinion, with Medic. So that is pretty awesome. And evasive shielding, movement speed duration, increased from 4 seconds to 5 seconds. And I really like the evasive shielding. It's really good for helping your team get out of tight situations, and it's really making Tassadar a bit more support viable, just very shield focused. Archon damage, though, has been decreased from 100% to 60%, so he's no longer basically an assassin with a shield. He is now a support with a bit of extra damage, which I like. I like it a lot. Excuse me. Tyranda's Searing Arrows has been buffed. It was already pretty fantastic. Now it's better. So we're probably going to see a couple more auto-attack Tyrandas, especially now that she actually has a support ability of her own that can be used if you don't want to take Starfall. So Shadowstalk no longer reveals enemies, which kind of sucks. It was a very unique ability in that. But she's just going to have to be relying on her owl as is. So we'll have to live with that. But instead, it gives allied heroes are now healed over 8 seconds. They receive a large burst of healing when a Shadowstalk expires. So it's pretty cool. Just some nice healing over time. And Hunter's Prey talent has been renamed to Hunter's Swiftness. Allied heroes no longer gain basic attack damage bonus and instead receive a 40% movement speed bonus for 8 seconds. Now it's pretty cool. It is pretty fantastic. This ability we will show you, actually. We will hop in and just show you Shadowstalk. We need to find a way to try and damage Malfurion, or at least get him punched a couple times while we show this off. Where are you, Tyrande? There we go. Tyrande, get in here. And let's try you out quickly and show off the new Shadowstalk. Alright, so we'll just level up to Shadowstalk and just go... What's the level 20 upgrade now? I haven't looked. And let's gain movement speed. Okay, that's fine. So level 1, we don't care. Don't care.
Generous
Don't
offering.
care. Don't care. Shadowstalk. Alright, so we need a way to basically try and get Malfurion punched, so we're going to ping him. And try and run into enemy towers. That's the plan anyway. Mouth, come here. Mouth, come over here. Come over here and help me. I need you to run into this tower. Alright, so now if I run back... There we go. Switch the aggro onto him. There we go, taking a bit of damage. Now Shadowstalk. And he heals back up quite a decent amount. You can see him just being healed over time. He is healing himself as well. But he is still getting his... It's still getting the job done. And he was cloaked for at least a little bit. So that's how that works now. It's not a huge amount of healing. But it is a nice amount of healing. So let's quit out of that. And head back to the other screens. Those are our two support changes. Basically, the two non-supports have now been changed to make them a bit more supporty. Now that Tyrande has a healing heroic, it's a pretty big deal. And Tassadar is just a bit more shieldy, so he's a bit better. Chen. Not going to show you these changes. It's just some quality of life changes for him, basically. He's had some talent shuffling around, nothing that you really need to know other than Grounding Brew is pretty cool. It now decreases incoming ability damage by 25% while channeling Fortifying Brew. So what you can do is you can combo two talents with each other. There's Chen. So you can basically, if you want to not go for the regen build, if you don't think you're going to get enough globes on the map, you can take Grounding Brew to reduce ability damage, and you can take the, the Swift Reflexes to dodge auto attacks. So you can get a bit of a combo off there and avoid a decent amount of damage if you don't want to go for that regen, and you can still rely heavily on your Brewmaster's Balance. Flying Kick, just been made a little bit better, which is pretty cool. Keg Smash has been changed a bit. Full Keg has been moved from level 1 to 7. So it now has an increased area of effect of the Keg by 50%. So you now have a more reliable slow on level 1, which is pretty cool. You can hit more targets with it, which is nice. Breath of Fire. Deep Breath reduces Breath Fire's cost from 30 down to 20, which is nice. And Ring of Fire, the damage has been increased from 10 plus 2.5 to 11 plus 2.75, which is pretty nice, just a little bit of extra damage. And both the heroics have had their cooldowns, their costs removed, which is awesome. And Wandering King has had its cooldown reduced by 20 seconds, but it's still bugged as hell, or at least really hard to aim. So unfortunately, Chen is still probably going to be played, but not going to be played reliably, or at least going to be played with pretty much only Storm Fire. Diablo, big changes coming into Diablo. Once again, not going to be able to show them to you, basically making him much more gank available. Basic health gained from soul, gained per soul has been increased from 0.15 to 0.2, which is great. Nice little bit of health, but it's only really like an extra auto attack worth of health. Not a huge deal, but any extra health, on a warrior is good. At least he's not as ridiculous as what he used to be. Essence of the Slain now also grants 10 health for each enemy slain nearby. It used to be just mana, so that's actually a useful talent now. Shadow Charge has an increased range, which is pretty fantastic. The stun duration has also been increased, and Devastating Charge now reduces movement impairing effects by 6 seconds, so he's much more engagey. And Overpower, the Domination Challenge cooldown reduction of Shadow Charge increased from 8 seconds to 10 seconds. So now he's a much more gank-heavy hero. You can really run him quite nicely, but he's still missing some key features in the fact that he can actually live through most of this. But it's now much easier to gank with him, which is still pretty cool. ETC, once again, some really nice changes coming in here. Got a bit of a health buff and a scaling health buff at that. So 250 per level, 1,500, 1,040, 240 per level. So nice little health buff and scaling health buff there. Stun duration on his Q increased, which is a massive deal. It's only an extra quarter of a second, but any stun increase on a hero is pretty awesome. Face Melt has had its mana cost reduced, its cooldown reduced, and the mic check has had the cooldown reduction it gives increased from 4 seconds to 5 seconds. So Face Melt, they want you to be spamming this quite a bit more, being more disruptive in a team fight. And Guitar Solo, Heal Amount has been increased as well, so giving ETC that sustain, and the scaling healing is quite good. And Prog Rock has increased the amount healed per regen globe from 2 to 3. So we can actually see a bit more of a return of the tanky ETC coming in. And Pawn Shop Guitar, the mana cost reduced from 40% to 60%, so it's pretty cool there, which is pretty nice. Once again, can't really show you too much about that as it's all very unnoticeable stuff. Same with Johanna. Night takes Pawn, the damage has been increased from 400% to 300%. She can't one-shot minion waves now, at least none that I've seen, even in the late game, where she used to be able to just wipe them out so quickly, but it's still a useful ability. The stun duration has been decreased from 4 seconds to 3 seconds, but still very useful. Still one of the better talents on her level 1. Just had to be, it's just not as ridiculously powerful as it used to be. Blessed Shield, this is a big change. Stun duration decreased from 2 to 1.5 seconds on the first target, and is only 0.75 seconds on all of the additional targets, which is a pretty big deal. And Radiating Faith no longer increases the Blessed Shield's range. It now just increases the stun duration to 2 seconds on the first target and 1 second for additional targets. So moving it back to what it used to be. So now instead of, if you really want that huge stun duration, you have to spec into it level 20. But with this, we could maybe be seeing some more Falling Swords. Because Falling Sword I really like as an ability in general. It gives you the escape kind of stuff. But Blessed Shield was the more reliable ability. But now with the stun reduction, maybe we'll see a bit more Blessed Shield coming in the near future. Sorry, a bit more Falling Sword coming in the near future. The Auric nerfs. Simple as that. Also renewal now demounts him. Its Skeletal Swing has had its damage reduced from 100 plus 10 per level to 85 plus 8.5 per level. Big nerf there, because the Auric was pretty insane, so they just don't want him to be as insane, but still good. Muradin. Haymaker received improvements, which should make it more responsive. I haven't checked these. Let's check them. Let's find Muradin. There he is. And try. So yeah, I haven't seen this yet, so I'll just quickly level him up to 10 and give that a go. So we'll see how reliable these actually are. Perfect Storm, Crowd Control, Skullcracker, we don't care. Haymaker! Alright, pop that down. Let's find an Arthas. And test this out. Arthas! You're our guinea pig today. That feels fairly responsive. Reset cooldowns. Where's the cooldowns? Toggle cooldowns. Oh, I see. So there's short... Oh, just short cooldowns, not infinite cooldowns. Oh no, they're pretty short. Yeah, it's pretty much the second I get to him, which is pretty cool. And he's in the base. Awesome. And keep going. There you go. You're dead. Is there no... Yeah, we have no fort on our side, so I guess it's just go until you win. I don't think you can actually lose this now. But that's cool. That is a cool change. Rexxar. Big deal. We have to show you Rexxar. We're just going to load him up while we do this, and we'll just toggle everything off once we get in. So, new ability, Misha Fixate. This is the big deal here. Misha has had her leash range significantly increased. Misha will now hide in a brush when Rexxar's in a brush. And Spirit Swoop, the bonus damage from Bird of Prey has been reduced from 300 to 200. Now, it was a great ability. Makes quite a lot of sense. Toggle minions, toggle allies, reset forts in case any took damage. Alright, so let's try these out quickly, because these are huge deals. First things first, let's get off our horse, and let's get in the bush. We're in the bush, Misha follows us into the bush. So we're both in cover, get out, get in, Misha follows us in, making sure we are. Now, Misha Fixate is a really important ability. Command Misha to attack a specific enemy or move to a point and wait. So, let's try it out. Let's move Misha to here, and let's go in the bush. Misha does not follow us. We can now basically control Misha completely independently of our hero on no cooldown, and at any point we can override this with the Misha heal button and make her come back to us. Let's toggle some minions here so that we can start testing this on those, and they'll be overrated again. But she'll still attack everything we attack if we recall her, but the Fixate will override everything, so I can have her attack Arthas, and I can just start attacking this range minion in the back. Misha will continue to focus on Arthas because that's where I made a Fixate, and I can make her go in the bush. Wait there while she heals up, bring her back out, start attacking Arthas again. And she'll continue to Fixate even if I use my her stun ability. So, huge change on Misha there. Really big deal, making her much easier to control and making her a huge amount better in terms of usability. And now with pretty much all of Rexxar's bugs fixed, in fact I think they are all fixed, it is a big deal to have that ability in there to make Misha more controllable, so I'm almost positive we'll see a lot more Misha games in the near future. Stitches! Now we're going to show you a load of these because there's some pretty big deals. Health increased. So he now has better scaling health. It's not his actual health, just a better scaling health. An extra 260 as opposed to 230. Block Talent has been removed, which is fine. Regen Master has been removed. And Imposing Presence removed. So trying to remove that kind of tankiness. He now has Stone Skin at level 16. So that extra tanky talent on that way. And a new talent at level 1, Dampen Magic, which is basically block for spells. Every 8 seconds, gain a charge that reduces magic damage from the next incoming enemy ability by 50%. So it's up to 2 charges, so it could make Stitches really the tank for going up against those really powerful mages. And with his hook, he has the engage upon them as well, so Stitches could be a pretty powerful pick in the next patch against those mages. And a new level 1 talent, Hungry for More. Collecting regen globes will permanently increase his maximum health by 30. So you can really buff your health up if you're on a very globe heavy map. So for example, Stitches on the Tomb of the Spider Queen could really stack up quite heavily if you just started roaming around getting globes. And then take Shish Kebab, because Shish Kebab allows you to hook through buildings. So you could just hook into a building, hook someone out from their own buildings. Like you could just hook through a fort and pull someone next to you, and you'll have a huge amount of health, make yourself a lot more tanky. So it's really good on that certain talent. And speaking of hook abilities, we have Helping Hand. If you now hook an ally, you will have your cooldown reduction you will have a cooldown reduction of 8 seconds if you use Helping Hand, which is a pretty big deal. Slam, mana cost reduced, so he has a bit more harassment. Devour, mana cost reduced, cooldown reduced. And Last Bite now grants a cooldown reduction for enemies that are killed within 3 seconds after being damaged by Devour, so it's much easier to land. And Indigestion, Retchings now apply Vile Gas, so you could maybe even go for a Vile Gas build. Gorge, some big changes here. The duration has been increased from 3.5 to 4 seconds. His movement speed is no longer reduced while using Gorge, which is a massive deal. And targets under the effect of Stitch's Gorge will now be instantly expelled if Stitches enter stasis, which is a pretty big deal as well. And Hungry Stitches no longer increases Gorge's duration, just increases the damage by 40%. So let's have a look at some of these, because these are some pretty big deals. In terms of changes, Stitches, where are you? There you are. And let's try you out. And go over some of these changes. So first things first, we'll just let everything toggle in here. Ally, you can come out here because we're going to try Helping Hand. So Hungry for More, you'll be just getting the stuff. We're going to try Dampen Magic here, and we're just going to run into Arthas. Let's see what kind of damage we can take. Arthas, use your abilities. Arthas, do something. Let's just demount. Arthas, you gonna do anything at any point? Go on, use a spell on me. Use any spell. Jesus Christ, Arthas. Arthas, come here and use a spell. Jesus Christ, you're the worst. Arthas, just activate Frozen Wastes. Jesus Christ. Come on now. Stop being such a wuss. Come on. Come on. I'm gonna start hitting him. Maybe he'll hit back. Nope, this Arthas just sucks. Come on. Activate an ability, you pleb. Oh my god, I hate this Arthas. Check out its stone skin. God damn it. Alright, so let's just level up the rest of the stuff. So, yeah, this is the Vile ability, the Vile Gas ability I was thinking of. Basic attacks increase, basic attacks infect Vile Gas, Toxic Gas increases duration. Right, so Gorge. Movement speed no longer reduced. So we can run quite a long way back with the extra duration as well and really drag him into our base quite nicely there. Just give him a whack again. Alright, Helping Hand and Shish Kebab. We're going to try both of those together because, once again, we can combo them. Because if you hook your ally and... Alright, well, we're going to wait. Oh, no, hang on. Toggle cooldowns. And toggle cooldowns. Alright, so we need to try and hit them both here. We can do it in a minion. So if you hit both your ally and an enemy, you still get the cooldown reduction. So you can combo that pretty nicely if you want to run those two together. And if you feel confident, if you comboed it with your ally standing right in front of you and then went for the snipe on Arthas, you could try and get a really good combo. Say at Uther standing in front of you ready for the follow-up stun. So you could get a really good hook engage there. Let's see if we can get him. Oh, also, let's try it on the buildings. See if we can make him go behind these buildings. Come on, kill off. Come on, kill it off, kill it off. Yeah, that's right, back up. Alright, come on, back away. Alright, and... Alright, back up again. Let's get our hold cooldowns. And let's try see if we can get him. Nope, where is he? Oh yeah, if you hit 2 buildings, it won't get the cooldown reduction, so be careful. Nope, missed. Yeah, so you can pull from buildings with that, which is pretty nice. But that's not a change, that's just a cool feature. Didn't really get to show you Dampen Magic there, which kind of sucks, but pff, That's just the alpha spot being stupid, and that is pretty much everything. So this has been quite a short episode here. I just wanted to show you guys the changes as much as possible, and show you the big, a lot of stuff that was a pretty big deal, just the hero changes mostly, and just show you in general some good stuff. We also saw some graphical upgrades, including one of my least favourite ever, which I will in fact show you. Magni Muradin, try. Magni Muradin got an upgrade to his avatar, which is pretty terrible. Don't care, don't care, don't care. Avatar. So now he's red diamond, which I don't quite like. I think it looks a bit daft. It's cool, don't get me wrong, but I think it looks a little bit daft. So, that's cool though. Keep that. That's awesome. We like that. But, I don't know, maybe something a bit more lava-ish as opposed to just red diamond. I don't know. Just doesn't look right to me, and some people on Reddit weren't too happy about it either. But that's pretty much it, so there you guys go. This has been Tetcher Teaches on the patch for the PTR. Most of this will be coming to the live server. I'm not sure if all of it will, but I expect most of it will at least make its way over there. Also, no new mounts in the shop. As you can see, everything's still pretty much the same, but this is like everything that's available as a mount, which is cool to see. I don't own way too many of these. I have no idea how you got this one. I'm assuming it's something to do with Waters of Drader. And I still don't have the Mechanos Radix, I don't have Facebook. But there you guys go. I have been Tetcher. This has been the PTR patch notes for Heroes of the Storm, September something. It's going to be November. I'm once again phasing out of reality here, but I'm going to disappear. Thank you very much for watching. And if you want to leave a suggestion for what I should talk about next on Tetcher Teaches, then please leave it as a comment in the comment section below. If you want to see any more of the series that I do, then in the description you will find a link to a playlist of every series that I do. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.